Okay, what we're going to do today is start our positive shapes project. In order to do that, we're just going to draw about 5 or 6 geometric shapes and then about 5 or 6 organic shapes. Now, if you watched my previous video on types of shape, then you would have learned a dance move to remember geometric shapes and a dance move to remember organic shapes. I have my iPad set up to videotape only down here, so I can't really do the dance move. But remember in geometric shapes, we made like that box around our face and we sang like Madonna. Well, actually we sang like a robot, but we stole Madonna's dance move. And it was like geometric shapes. And then you could like break down dancing like a robot, like really stiff and geometric, because geometric shapes are like circles, triangles, squares, rectangles, octagons, things that are very straight and uniform, or perfect and uniform on the edges, I should say. And then organic shapes, we danced and we did like the wave, and we said it like a whisper in the wind, or like water, or like a snake, whatever you want. All those things are nature elements, and all those things are considered organic shapes. Remember that a circle is both organic and geometric, and I'm going to talk a little bit about making different kinds of circles, and then also that even like a squiggly or a scribbly shape, that will be considered organic as well. So anything you don't use a ruler or a compass to draw is pretty much an organic shape, okay? All right, so I'm gonna get started with geometric shapes just because I feel like geometric shapes are a little bit harder, or they take a little bit more precision, I guess. So I like to get that precise stuff out of the way to begin with. I'm gonna go ahead and just draw like a really big triangle kind of going off the edge of the paper here. By the way, you can work on any size of paper that you want, but for this project, I'd recommend paper that's a little bit thicker. If you have drawing paper or painting paper or watercolor paper, that would be awesome. If you have a sketchbook with thick pages, or like white construction paper would even be fine, but something a little bit thicker because we are gonna do marker painting on here. You're probably like, marker painting? Is this lady crazy? But I will show you what marker painting looks like, obviously, when we get to the next step of this project, okay? Basically, we're just gonna fill it in with marker and drip water on it, and it kind of reactivates the marker and makes some crazy cool designs. By the way, this little gizmo I'm using here is called a safety compass. If you've never used a safety compass before, this is what it looks like. You can probably buy it, I would guess, at Walmart or Target or anywhere you guys shop. So that is how you use it. If you want to make big circles, you put your finger on that little bronze pin, pick a hole, spin it all the way around. If you want to make little circles, you can rotate this little white thing like I did, or clear tab, I should say, or you can make even smaller circles by tracing the circles on the inside here, okay? I went a little circle crazy. I'd like you to vary your shapes. Don't just do a bunch of circles. Let's see, I'm gonna try like a trapezoid or a rhombus or something. I don't know if you guys know what this looks like. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go rhombus because these are kind of fun. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do 2 lines coming down from the corners at an angle. So like at a diagonal. So it's kind of like a rectangle, except that the ends are diagonal instead of perfectly vertical, okay? This is not the best rhombus I've ever seen. Don't judge me. Okay, so I have 6 shapes, so I'm pretty much good to be done now. Oh, you just need 6 geometric shapes. I said 5 or 6. Let's go with 6 because I think we can handle 6 even on a small piece of paper. I was a little unsure when I started. All right, now I'm going to do 6 organic shapes. Now remember, a circle is both organic and geometric. That's true. But since we already have circles on there, let's do other kinds of shapes. So for organic shapes, there's a lot of fun ones out there you can do. By the way, guys, I like overlap, so I encourage you to overlap your shapes. Also, make those organic shapes big if you can. You could trace your hand on there. My hand would take up a lot of the paper, so I'm not going to trace my hand, but you're welcome to do it if you want to. If you're tracing your hand, you know what? I am going to now because now I want to talk to you about it. There's a couple things I want you to think about if you trace your hand. First of all, leave your pencil straight up and down when you're tracing your hand because that disables the pencil from kind of dipping underneath a finger. If you go kind of like under the finger on an angle like this, it tends to make the fingers look really skinny, like a skeleton hand kind of, a little bit creepy, okay? All right, so there's my hand, and then at the bottom, you could either trace your wrist and go right off the edges of the page, or you could draw like kind of this wavy line that goes down, up, and then back down. If you look at the bottom of your hand, there's already kind of a line there that does that, so that's kind of a clean way to end it. You don't want to end it with a very straight line because then it looks like it's been like chopped off or something. This one looks more like a hand print. Just a suggestion. Hearts and raindrops, those are all organic shapes. And you could do like clouds, you could do paw prints like for an animal if you wanted. If you're really good at drawing and you could do sort of like the outline of an animal, I suppose you could do that.
I do love to draw, and I draw quite a bit, so I might do the outline of an animal, although you guys don't have to do that. If it's too hard for you or whatever, you tried it and it didn't work out, you don't have to do it. I think I'm going to do, let me make sure you guys can see this top corner, right? I think I'm going to do kind of like the head of a horse kind of coming in from the side here. When I was growing up, I used to love to draw horses. I still do, I guess, enjoy to draw horses. So I'm going to have like the head of a horse here. Maybe like a little bit of like a horse mane kind of coming in there. Now remember, you only want to keep it to the outline of the animal. You don't want to go in and draw in, well, now I got into a lot of the body. Now I guess I need to draw in kind of like a horse leg here. I'm really getting a little bit more complicated than I wanted to get on this, guys. But hey, maybe complicated is good. Maybe it'll get you guys to do, like get out of your comfort zone, kind of do something else, something different, something fun. Here's like the horse hoof. Gosh, I'm really getting complicated now. I didn't really mean to get like this. But anyway, the outline only, whatever it is that you guys are drawing, okay? Just the outline. I know, I'm trying to stick to just the outline. I'm gonna do some erasing here in just a minute. So I'm gonna erase in here. My horse did go right over my triangle, so I'm just gonna leave that line that overlaps the triangle. Well, it's not super complicated. Also not the best horse I've ever drawn. Oh goodness. What a day I'm having today. Sorry guys. Kind of, you know, like when you're overwhelmed and you're just doing things and you're not sure you're doing them well. All right, whatever. It kind of looks like a horse, I guess. Okay. So by the way, we want about 6 organic shapes too. So I have a couple more of those to do. Ooh, you know what I love? I love to do just a crazy paint splatter of a shape. Like that looks like really nothing. Like, you know, it doesn't really look like anything at all. In fact, doing that shape kind of reminded me of the shape of a flame. A flame is a pretty awesome organic shape if you're into that. So there's like a little flame right there. Don't do a whole lot more than 6 shapes. Otherwise things become very, very complicated, okay? So let's not do that. Just do your 6 shapes of your geometric and then 6 shapes of the organic shapes, okay? Now, when you're at this stage, when you've done your 6 and 6, you're gonna go in and you're gonna outline these shapes, okay? You can outline them with any sort of permanent marker, okay? And it needs to be a black permanent marker. I don't care if it's a thick permanent marker or a skinny permanent marker. I mean, it can't be super thick where we can't see the shapes. You know, I don't want them getting like super distorted. Now the geometric shapes, if you drew them with a ruler, you will need to trace them with a ruler. So leave that ruler handy. If you did the circle tracer like I did, it's kind of hard to get them perfectly traced again on there. So the circles you're just going to kind of have to do by hand. If you trace something, like let's say you had like a coffee mug or something and you trace the bottom of the mug, I would not suggest doing this on there because you will get Sharpie on that object, whatever that object may be. But by the way, feel free to do that if you have any objects at home that you could trace. I actually brought this over here and then forgot to show you, but like if you did your colored pencil box, it would be like a perfect rectangle. You could trace that. If you guys ever come up with an easier way to do things than I'm doing and you're not necessarily cheating, like tracing something off the internet, say, go for it. Just do it. Yeah. Easier is definitely better as long as you're not tracing somebody else's artwork, okay? Oops, move my ruler a little bit. Spread your hand out when you're using a ruler so you're holding like the left and right side or the top and the bottom like this, okay? And also, I'm not really doing it right now because I'm trying not to do it for the video, but feel free to rotate and turn your papers. You know what, I'm sorry, I am going to do it actually for this circle. I'm definitely going to rotate. My hand only likes to draw curves this way. Drawing them this way is very awkward for my hand. So when I'm tracing, a lot of times I will rotate my paper, and that helps me to trace a little bit neater. Guys, I wish I could kind of fast forward to the end of what this will look like. Maybe I will. I'm going to pause you for a sec and come right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have finished tracing all of my shapes, both organic and geometric and Sharpie, even the ones that overlap. You'll notice that I kept lines where they were overlapping, like where the flame goes over the hand. And then I just went in when I got done and I erased all pencil lines. We don't want any pencil lines remaining. And so that is pretty much step 1. You just draw 5 geometric, 5 organic, overlapping and covering the page. And then when you're done, you trace them all in Sharpie and erase pencil lines. Oh, by the way, it doesn't have to be Sharpie permanent marker, just any permanent marker. Remember, if you have a little bit of a thicker paper to use, that'll be better on this project because for the next step, we are going to be adding water. And on thin pages, they wrinkle up a lot. And if the water doesn't have as much room to soak in, sometimes you don't have as pretty of pigments, like not as bright colors, okay? So try and use a thick paper if you have access to one.
Good luck, guys.